So we should be live now. Yeah. So I'm not alone today. I had somebody here with me yesterday. This is my little brother.
Kia ora.
David is here. He's going to be doing the painting. I'm going to be doing a lot of the talking, and David's try not to get too distracted from all of my talking while you're trying to do the painting, since you're doing all the work. So I'm also going to be running a poll, like I normally do. We didn't roll a poll yesterday because I was struggling to figure out how to actually do two people in my office at the same time. You will be kind of wondering, why does this sound so bad? I will sound better once I'm actually sitting in the right place, but because the office is so small, I'm actually standing beside David on the wrong side of the microphone. So I'm just checking to make sure the sound's coming through. And if I can hear it, that means it's working. We'll start that. So grab your miniatures, your paints, your brushes, get ready. We're going to do some painting today. And it's the Hooked Horror. And yeah, I think I'm just about ready to go. I can unplug this thing now. And that's ready to go, pretty much. Let's ditch this thing. And let's do our little intro, and then we're ready to wade on the new monster. Hi, welcome to How to D&D. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today, well, it's my holiday, and I've invited my brother along. Actually, have I Shanghaied you pretty much, haven't I?
You Shanghaied me, yes.
Yeah, Shanghai. so
I was supposed to be watching, but I'm not.
No. I've got him to actually do the painting instead. Yeah. The sound will improve. This is the second part 2 of painting the Hook Horror, or Hooked Horror, or whatever the heck you want to call it. It's got hooks, it's a horror, and it's a Dungeons and Dragons monster, and that's what is getting done today. And I believe we're ready to transfer it over, and we are, and it looks all good to me. And so I'm going to get back into the correct position, which is on the other side of you, since I've set it up so that I should be able to talk on this side rather than the other side. All right. Tell me, Sam, Sam, what the hell? You're not Sam, you're David.
How's it going?
Yeah. Tell me, David, you did a bit of work on this thing after we were painting last time, right?
Yes, well, because I didn't know I was going to be painting it, and you prepped it differently than the way I prep it. I went back and did some prep work on top of what I've done. So I got the airbrush out and I put an under shadow under it. So I used it's a Vallejo model color, black green. So it's like it's sort of a greeny black, just to run the shadows from hitting it from this side, coming back up underneath it. And then I put a purple wash over it, which I'm going to have to come back over and highlight some of the colours back on. But it just makes all of the, as you can see, all the details pop out, makes all of the cracks and crevices look really nice. And then, we go back over with the colour and build it back up again.
I noticed with that wash, it actually brought out some of the colours you put on yesterday, particularly the purple. I noticed the purple looks a lot more purple than it was before.
Yes, it makes the lighter purples brighter, it darkens down some of the other reds and the greys, and it brings colour into the greys, and then I've just got to blend it back so it doesn't look like it's just sort of stained itself into the greys, and then do the beak, which will be sort of like a beak colour.
All right.
A yellowy sort of colour probably.
All right, well, I'll let you get painting while I check the chat and have a chat with Ihab. How's it going, Ihab Kamal? Hello, how are you? You agree with the opening meme. Now, what was that opening meme? Oh, that was about the challenge rating. I already knew what the opening meme was. I'm the one who put it there. Yeah, look, I've never had a particularly... I mean, look, let's get real. It is asking an awful lot, no matter whether it's skill, challenge rating or monster level, or they've had all sorts of different things. Like Wizards of the Coast has been really heavy into having some sort of mechanical thing that you can use as a guide for determining the difficulty of a monster, right? And this is supposed to sort of essentially be a way of calculating whether this is going to be too hard or too easy for your player characters to actually fight. Like, that's the whole point of having those challenge ratings or a monster level. It's a formula for trying to do that. What colour are you putting on there?
This is Cobalt Red. So I'm building back in. I did 3 different greys. So it's going from the grey and starting in the dark area here, which is the Cobalt Red, and building back out to the purples, and I'll build back out to the greys, and then I'll do the beak.
Right, okay. All right.
And I'll build that with colours as well, so it won't just be straight yellow, it'll be blended in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So when it comes to challenge rating, this has really been my view. I know some people believe that it's just a general guide. I know other people believe that it's something you just need to know how to use it properly. You're using it incorrectly. I'm of the view that is a complete waste of your time. Frankly, you can use it as a guide if you like, but determining the monster's level is there's too many factors involved. So I have always considered it to be the best test of whether a monster is suitable for your player characters is to treat your player characters like a frog that's alive, stick them into a pot of water and slowly heat it up, and then when the
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. And so when the frog jumps out, you know that it's too hot for the frog, right? So then now you know it's too hot for the player characters.
That's a sad frog.
That's right. But it means every group is different. Every group is different. Every dungeon master is different. So you have to tailor it to the group rather than relying on mathematics. Because mathematics, the game is not mathematics. There's mathematics in it, but it's probability stuff, and it's not going to be determined. You're rolling 20-sided dice, like you can roll a 1 right through to a 20. It just isn't going to work that way. Even the design of a lot of the monsters in 5e. Now I've got my name in as a play tester for the monster manual for 5e. My name is actually in there, right? Because I was part of the alpha play testing for them when it went from the beta to the alpha. And look, they didn't do as nearly as much testing as you might think. So don't get too attached to challenge rating, because it isn't that, and it's never. I don't think you can expect anybody to do that. Now I know there'll be somebody out there who'll say, Pathfinder did it really well, or they did it really well in 3.5. Well, I played Pathfinder and I played 3.5, and I can tell you now that's just their perspective, because myself and other dungeon masters and other players, we found that it was just not the case. I think that it's pie in the sky sort of nonsense, frankly. What are you doing to the back there?
Just building the brown up, that cobalt red, still.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, and I build it into the purples.
Cool. So yeah, let us know what you're working on today. If you're painting any kind of miniature, or working on a 3D print, or thinking of, look, if you don't even have to, even if you're not even painting miniatures, if you just want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, I'm happy to do that. Got actually plenty to talk about, don't we? After yesterday and my jeez Louise,
What's the thing with Sam, Jace?
Yeah, I was not expecting the likes of Godfrey's Evil Hats to show up again.
Yes. In a 650 page.
Yeah, 650 pages of artwork and documentation. And I'm like, this is years ago when my brother Sam said, oh, you know that adventure you wrote, Fred, called Godfrey's Evil Hats? Can I take that and do something with it? And I said, yeah, sure. I'm finished with it. And it was just mad stuff, seeing what was going on there. What do you got here? I agree, the combat deadlines metrics don't account for the party setup. Yep. And like, player skill, but also the type of makeup of your party, and other critical factors like random. As soon as you add in random nature of any kind of dice roll, that changes things. And none of it's that well play tested. Like, everybody seems to assume that it's well play tested, but if you look at the surveys that Wizards of the Coast puts out on their Unearthed Arcana, I can assure you that the kind of feedback that they're asking for is marketing to see if they can actually sell it to people, not whether it's actually balanced for gameplay. They're not
Money.
Yeah, like it's like, oh, Games Workshop makes games that are balanced for play when you're playing 40k. No, they don't. No, they don't. They don't do that. You're not playing chess. So my main issue with CR is that it's very deceptive when you DM. So I wish they would get rid of it. Too much lag. I will have to wait for it to be in replay. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Fred. Sorry about that, Fred Hubber. If it's a bit laggy, look, I can assure you I have everything at my end turned off. There should be no problems, apparently. Maybe it's just at your end. But people will let me know if it's a problem. I'm hoping to be able to fix that, because I talked about getting a new computer and a new camera and a streaming deck yesterday, didn't I?
Yeah, and you asked the right person about it.
Yes, I did. Yeah, apparently asking my my other brother Sam was the right thing to do.
Yeah, if you want a beast of a computer and something that's going to not lag, yeah, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Get Sam to sort your computer out for you, and he'll get you something.
Yeah.
Within your budget, and that does exactly what you want it to do, or maybe even better.
Mm-hmm. Well, my budget's pretty big.
Yeah, so which means that it'll be better than you're hoping for.
More than likely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realise he managed to get a 12-core machine for $3,000 something. I don't know what the process is.
The process is powerful. He's using Unreal Engine. He's got game creating capabilities on that computer.
Oh,
so
right.
It's so fast he can do 3D animation basically in it. So it's that quick, and it's about $3.5 grand or something. It's,
right.
Yeah. Yeah, and he'll find you a very incredible camera as well for your streaming.
Yeah, well, that's good, because I think I set aside $2,500 for the camera. But
wow.
Yeah, well, he told me how much his Sony camera was worth, and so anyway. But so yeah, look, if you have some questions, throw them into the chat. I will answer those questions as we go. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about Godfrey's evil hats.
That would be cool, because it's a hot topic since last night, because I'm still buzzing about it even.
So what my brother has done, and he's actually built a video game, or started to build a video game based off that adventure, Godfrey's Evil Hats. Yep. Godfrey's Evil Hats is a time when I kind of went bat crazy. I'm not saying that I'm not bat crazy now. I probably am very much that. But this is a time when I decided to write stuff down and put it on paper. And so what he's done is he's taken a lot of the concepts of that adventure that I had written, which was only for me. I never actually published it anywhere. It wasn't good enough as far as I was concerned, and it wasn't really what I was interested in doing anyway. And so he's taken that, and he's what are you working? What colour is that?
It's red, purple, black mixed together.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So what he's done is he's taken a lot of the characters and the locations, and he's used artificial intelligence and
software. Yeah, it's new. It's only just come out, that software.
It's like super new. My understanding is it costs him quite a lot of money to use it.
Yes.
I'm not going to do a Godfrey's Evil Hats lore video. No, I have. I've talked to my brother. He's made a video, or making a video game. I don't know how long it'll take him to make the video game and finish it. It's using Unreal Engine, is that right?
Yeah.
He said something about Infinity, but I can't remember if that's right.
It's all sort of new, even with the Unreal stuff. It's what he's using. It's all new. So
right.
And that AI software he used for your concept art thing, that's it's only just come out. So it's he's got his hands on it early, and he's already, in his spare time in between doing his editing work, he's been playing with it.
So what this software does, as far as I can tell, is he puts in some keywords to describe the artwork that he wants the AI to render.
Yeah, so he gives a subject. So, like for an example, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yes.
What would a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man look like in Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes.
And then what kind of artist, if you wanted H.R. Geiger to design it, and then see what, and then and then it's crazy. Yeah.
So that then generates a whole lot of different images of the artwork, and then he takes those concepts and then he redraws them himself, because he's very artistic. He's very good at drawing, so he's capable of doing that. And it then creates a whole lot of different NPCs and locations and concept art, and also looks almost like completely finished color art as well. Like, it's very detailed, it's very colourful. It actually wound up a lot of whatever he's put in there, it actually came out quite dark. But Godfrey's Evil Hats, to give you an idea of what that's about, is a combination of James Bond, Meet the Robinsons, my desire to incorporate Pinky the Brain from Disney. I know this sounds really strange, people. Okay, stay with me. My desire to incorporate some out of the box adventure. So I kind of included a halo jump in there.
Oh, really?
Yes, yeah, halo jump from a dragon. Yeah, so and it's about Godfrey's Evil Hats, and Godfrey is actually, he seems like he's the villain, but he's not actually the main villain in the story. Yeah, but it's called Godfrey's Evil Hats, and it's essentially about a small town that gets taken over by these evil hats that are kind of like spiders that attach themselves to people's heads and then implant themselves in there, take over their brain, and generally just turn them into puppets. You can see where Meet the Robinsons is taking place, but it's not mechanical. They're like spiders. Like I would say it's very steampunk, steampunk and magics. So steampunk and magic combined. That's sort of what the story revolves around. And the lair is an enormous top hat that sits on the top of a snowy topped mountain. That's the baddie's lair, is an enormous top hat that flies, that's invisible. You made it to the stream. Hello, how's it going, Bob? Tabletop Bob's got a channel, by the way, for those of you who are unaware. And so there are characters in this adventure called Godfrey's Evil Hats that consist of, that's right, Pinky the Brain. That's right. So Brain and Pinky are, look, obviously Pinky is not the main mastermind behind all of it. Its Brain is the but all these names will be changed because I would get some eaten alive by Disney by using those sorts of things. That's fine. Like whoever owns that, we change those names, but the concept's there. For those of you who don't know what Pinky and Brain are, they're white mice. They're little white mice. Yes, that's right. I have made a Dungeons and Dragons Bond adventure with main villains being white mice. so the idea is that the player characters will hopefully thwart or stop this from happening, because this could spread. Like, it's not just a village that could be affected; the entire world is going to be like taken over by evil hats. We don't want that. So
Well, do we?
Well, I don't know. But there's characters like a Cyrus, the snowboarding yeti. I thought might have talked about.
Sunglasses.
Yeah, he's got sunglasses. He likes to snowboard. He's made his own snowboard. He will snowboard down a mountainside while there's an avalanche, and he's quite helpful. But I placed him as sort of like a character that could assist the players when things got like way too hard. But there is like a halo jump to get to this location where you have to jump off a large adult silver dragon and then skydive down basically to the appropriate location close to where the village is. I also had to include, because at the time I had a thing for James Bond, so I had to have a Q-like character, and we had to have like gadgets, and magic items just felt like an excuse for putting gadgets in there. So we had like steampunky magic items, and the players get quite a bunch of these things. One of them, I believe, is like night vision goggles, which sounds like, oh, I've heard of that before, but if you see the artwork for these things, it's not what you were expecting, okay? So that's what's been going on. And
it's more like what you were expecting.
Yeah.
But not what people would be expecting.
No, it's not what you would see from Wizards of the Coast, not even remotely. So there's a lot of stuff like that I incorporated. I would also say I kind of took a lot of the nonsense from Agent Cody Banks, which was a sort of a spoof on Agent or James Bond movies.
I remember Agent Cody Banks.
Yeah, that's the one. So there's characters like that. Cyrus is one of my favourites. I keep calling him Cyril, but he's not really Cyril. He's Cyrus. Cyrus. Yeah, I like Cyrus. So think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Cowabunga, Geronimo. Yeah, nice Yeti. Not the kind of Yeti that wants to eat you, but more fun-loving mountain snowboarder. So that's there, and then there's a. I guess you could describe it in the adventure. I included some gnomes, and they kind of look after the power plant of the flying hat. I know that sounds weird. Okay, magic and steampunk, so kind of that's in there. Some of the NPCs are a little bit on the odd side, because they are a combination of, they're not usually human. Almost always they are. If they're human, they just don't look that human. Right? Literally, they're not the sort of humans you will have ever come across, ever. And there are very few of them.
I'm related to one of them, though.
Well, that's true. But so I included that, and then there is a shield guardian, which is, I guess, the best way to describe it is a mech suit for a small white mouse.
Oh, it's the mouse that wears it.
That's right.
Which one?
Pinky, of course. Pinky's a dangerous fella.
What did Sam call them?
Oh,
He gave them different names. Corvinius or Cornelius or something was the brain guy.
I think
Cerebrus.
Was
the brain guy. Yeah. I can't remember who Pinky was though.
He called him something else, but yeah, it doesn't matter. The names will change, and they might change again. Who knows? We'll see how we go. But they won't be those. That's what I sort of initially used. So I was taking the piss pretty big on this. Okay, and I'm not going to say that this may actually have been a time when I was drinking a lot of ginger beer that was alcoholic too. What's that, Bob? Are you using the Nolzur's paint too, or just the model for the set? So, yeah, this is a Nolzur's Hooked Horror, but David's actually using a combination of the Nolzur's Marvelous Pigments, the Monster Paint set, and Vallejo. Is anything else in there?
Army Painter.
Army Painter, which is, essentially the Nolzur's paints are Army Painter paints. They're just rebranded. That's all. They're not nothing particularly special.
They're not. Well, they're nice paints though.
They are nice paints. Yeah, that's why people use them. Yeah. So yeah, I included that. So to think of this Iron Maiden that is operated by a small white mouse, which is supposed to be like a major problem for the players to get through. They will near the end. It'll show up. Imagine you had an Iron Maiden, that torch machine, but you stuck all the spikes on the outside of it, apart from on the head, so that it can now body wrestle you and slam you like a WW wrestler, while it's got covered in spikes. Like that's what we're dealing with here in terms of a kind of a mech robot.
How big is it though? Because it's the mouse, right?
It's large. It's large size.
Is the mouse large?
It's tiny.
So it's really is like a robot.
It's like a big, huge robot.
Oh, right. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a magical robot, basically.
It is very pinky in the brain, though.
It is very pinky in the brain.
Very pinky in the brain, yeah.
So that's one of those characters. I think I even included a character who is supposed to interact with them. I can't even remember her name, but the thing that sort of made her stand out was she's always eating an apple.
It reminds me of Brad Pitt in the Ocean's 11 movies, who's always eating chips.
That's right, yeah.
Who's the Silver Dragon woman though?
It's been so long I don't even remember her name. But so the Silver Dragon actually transforms into a human form, or a humanoid form, and I do believe it is a woman. From what I remember, it's been so long. I can't.
Turned it into a woman, whatever it was.
Well, it was supposed to be a woman.
Yeah.
It started with A, actually. I think they named it. it's been so long. It's been so long. But I saw a lot of the artwork, the laboratories, the workshops.
Even the Silver Dragon Lady was cool.
Oh, the Silver Dragon Lady was so amazing. And then the actual...
Godfrey's was cool too.
Godfrey looked great.
Dark.
Very dark. Think Tim Burton dark and Dark Crystal wacky.
Dark Crystal, Pan's Labyrinth.
Jim Henderson.
The Labyrinth.
Yeah.
The Labyrinth.
Yes. With what is it, Jennifer Connelly?
Yeah. Which is also, I think, Jim Henson's.
You need to drop it down a little bit. Otherwise, I can't see.
Okay.
But yeah, that's sort of the kind of art style, I guess. So I've asked my brother, since he's doing a video game, to actually turn it into a PDF, an actual adventure that people can actually use. And he will obviously take a cut, and I will take a cut. But I feel like at this point he's probably done more work than I ever have.
I don't know. Storytelling is,
Well,
a big part of it.
I mean, I remember spending a lot of time on it, but yeah.
He spent a week on it.
Okay, all right.
But he is fast, but he does. But.
Yeah. So anyway, the idea is that this will actually wind up, I think it's drive-through RPG eventually. I don't know when that's going to happen. I'm not going to give him like a set date because that's not how things work. It's the creative process. It takes as long as it's going to take.
Yeah, like painting it.
Yeah, exactly.
And is it even finished?
Hi Jasper, how's it going? Hi Fred. Just ended my D&D session. Now, how did your D&D session go? I'm kind of curious. I would like to know. So what colour are you putting on there, by the way?
It's just a light purple.
Light purple now?
Yeah.
So this is just to highlight some of the details?
Yeah.
So the higher areas get...
Higher the areas are getting a bit sort of highlighted. And then I'll blend the greys.
So how do you like painting live stream, by the way?
I'm getting used to it. Holding the miniature in a very specific place is tricky.
Yep. I mean, it's just practice. You'll find out where your zone is, and occasionally you look up and say, "Oh, okay, I'm not quite in the shot." But you get there. It'll happen. I guess the other thing to sort of mention is that I also had a discussion with my brother about what I was doing in terms of these classes. Since those of you who are aware, I've been working very, very hard on my holiday, trying to put together classes for basic or beginner character creation. That's not really going to be part of what Sam is going to be involved in, though, because that's just beginner character creation. I've got somebody else helping me with the concepts behind that. That's very basic stuff. Then there's also the core rules, so I would do demonstrations of that. And that's, again, not something that Sam's going to be part of, because that's not necessary. But I've also got the monster combat tactics for 5e, which is sort of showing you how to use the monster and the like how to defeat it. Sam is not going to really be part of that, but the Dungeon Master preparation stuff, he is going to be part of. So I told him that I was going to be running classes where I'd be showing people how to create adventures, short adventures, like on a page. And so we're thinking that maybe we can combine his forces and my forces to turn that into a prettier document. Captain Planet. I don't know about that. Into a prettier document that would probably go... Obviously, it would go onto PM as a PDF, a very basic PDF, onto the Patreon, but it would also be available with potentially maps and artwork and so forth associated with it onto drive-through RPG or the DM's Guild, depending on which one we're allowed to put on. We're aiming more for the drive-through RPG, and so that would be that. And then of course, and the part of that DM prep is this means that he can actually create a lot of the artwork and put it into a proper professional piece of software that then spits out a document that looks a lot more professional than my basic simple looking PDF. Although my basic simple PDF on Patreon you can just unlock really easily, whereas whatever Sam's putting together, you wouldn't be able to do that because it had too much formatting going on, and he would make sure that you couldn't do that. So that's So the idea behind that is that that would be adventures. That would also be locations. There'd be a document released on the various locations that get created as part of the live stream. They will then turn into documents that are for patrons, very simple, and then the more complicated stuff would go into a formal site to be purchased. And then there's also the monsters. I can now create monsters, and he can then illustrate those monsters.
That's very cool.
So we get to make up the lore.
Monsters, the imagery.
You get to make the lore and the stat block, and he can then create an image for that monster to go with it, and then put it into a fancy looking document. We can do magic items that way. We can, because I'll be making magic items with people. We can do that with non-player characters, which, God help you if you have to deal with my non-player characters, because I get pretty crazy.
Yeah, I remember.
World building, we can do that with world building as well. That means the world maps and so forth. You can sort of work with that as well, potentially, and we can kind of compile those into sort of documents that you can grab later. And then what else was there? Skill challenges, so action scenes. So I like doing action scenes as a skill challenge. So that means we can actually have some artwork to go with the skill challenge that we build, because we're going to be building some skill challenges as part of the classes that I run. And then there's the improvising stuff, which won't really apply at all because that's improvising. So, whatever we create from the improvising process may in fact be able to be turned into something that's not just a basic PDF on Patreon that you can access as part of your monthly fee. So there's a lot going on. I don't know where this is going to go, but I get the impression it might be going somewhere that is going to be amazing. We'll see. Anyway, back to Jasper. So your game went pretty great, but I fear two of my players had to leave. All right, and they had to drop off their pet somewhere. Oh dear. Well, look, dropping off your pet means they can't get killed, right? Well, I should say one player because she sucks. I don't understand what that means. Yeah, we don't need to know how you feel about your players in the live stream.
How can you suck at playing Dungeons and Dragons?
You just play the game, don't you? Long story on that one. Don't need to share that story with us. How's it going, Agile Monk? Agile Monk is a patron, by the way, for those of you who don't know. So 46 years of painting figures and models, Fred. That's me. Well, I've been doing it for a lot less time. And now, I'm not even doing it now. I'm actually... What's your name? Oh, you're my brother, aren't you?
Yeah. Dave.
Yeah, my brother David is now painting it while I talk.
Yeah. It's a good combo.
It works out well. Yeah, and the hope is that one day that David will do some on his own channel.
Yes, yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I like the idea of what Fred's been telling me. You paint miniatures, and people give you miniatures to paint, and then you don't have to buy models anymore or paints anymore. You can just get them and then paint. So it's pretty cool.
Thank you for the super chat, Agile Monk. That $10 super chat. It's actually a super sticker, isn't it? Wow. So, yes, I know Steve Zurich and Agile Monk, and there's actually somebody else as well, have been pushing me really hard to try to get something moving. And so it looks like all the pieces are starting to fall into place. And obviously, the only reason it was starting to fall into place is because I can't do it alone. I actually have to have help.
That's the story of a lot of things. I always think.
Yeah.
Things even what I want to do, it's like it's too hard to. It's too much work.
Yeah.
It's too much work to do stuff like that alone. It's just so much involved in it.
Yeah. Exactly. So Agile Monk. Look. So my younger brother is much better at painting, and he's been painting miniatures for a while now. So what are you painting now? You do cars and...
I do. Anything that I like the look of, I'll paint it. So yeah, but I've done replica model cars for a lot of my friends who have performance cars, lots of Japanese sort of stuff. And I've got busts that I'm doing as well, some Star Wars stuff. I've done Darth Vader. After seeing the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, it was cool seeing him with his helmet off, so I had that. My brother Sam 3D printed me a Darth Vader bust, and I cut his helmet open and painted that. Iron Man, just anything really. Having a 3D printer though underneath the house It's kind of handy, eh?
Well, that's crazy, that 3D printers thing.
Yeah.
It takes forever. It looks like it's not actually that cheap to do either.
Not really. I kind of have gone back to just buying off Etsy and AliExpress, but yeah.
It's not like in North America where the technology and the materials are really, really super, super cheap.
Not yet, no. And I don't know how long it will take to be that here because we're just too far away everywhere.
It may never happen, actually.
It might. Well, we'd have to make them here.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And that's not going to happen while China exists.
It's not just that. It's just we just don't have any support for it.
Yeah.
Who's going to get the support to be able to have the technology paid for to build that stuff here?
Yeah.
No, our government's not going to do that.
Yeah.
So it's just not going to happen.
And there's no private company that's going to do it without trying to make gobs of money.
They just buy Chinese machines and do it that way, and then they mark up. It's
Yeah.
just going to, and that's the New Zealand way, unfortunately. It's just the way we have to do it. So yeah, expensive.
Yeah, exactly. So, Jasper, what do you got here? I think Ghostfire Gaming may have made their monsters unbalanced. Look, I'm actually happy for monsters to be unbalanced because I actually think that it's a waste of time trying to have a calculation for them. I really like the Kobold Press Tome of Beasts, the first one. People complained about it not being in line with the monster manual, but the monsters in the 5e monster manual are pussies. They are tame as. They're just not that tough. I mean, there are a couple of monsters in there that are pretty scary, like the Banshee. If it actually gets its whale to work, that can hurt. But other than that, they're not very good monsters. They're actually quite boring most of the time. So yeah. So Ghostfire Games, you get a thumbs up for me if you've made them really, really hard and that CR rating is sort of unapplicable. I like it when people make stat blocks for 5e and there's no challenge rating listed. Like they just don't even bother putting it there. Then I was like, okay, cool, awesome. We've got rid of that nonsense. You either use it or you don't. Yeah, Agile Monk, that's exactly the thing. I look, needing help and encouragement has certainly helped a lot to get myself a lot more focused. And creating the slideshows and getting it, making a lot of things, trying to wean myself away from being classified as the beginner dungeon master channel or the beginner player channel. Although that's probably going to sort of perpetuate because I don't want to do power builds. I'm not really into that. But I will try to bring back the old ways to the new generation. That's probably what I'll wind up doing.
What's power building?
Power building is when you make your character so powerful that the only thing it really does really well is in combat, and that's usually to move hit points or decrease hit points on a monster, or to shut them down so they can't fight at all. And
sounds a bit boring though.
Yeah, it's not very. It doesn't really embrace the 3 pillars.
It reminds me of God mode on.
Yeah, exactly.
On games where you just play, which is what Sam does. He puts everything on God mode, but it's just like, how do you get the enjoyment out of the game if you're in God mode?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
no challenge.
Yeah, and it makes it hard for a dungeon master to actually make it interesting for people. What do you got here, Agile Monk? I've painted some D&D character figures recently. I don't even bother trying. Miniatures that are like medium size I can't handle. They're too hard for me now. I am almost halfway through a huge giant spider. Giant spiders sound good to me. A new one that I'm using when I run my Lost Mine of Phandelver campaign or adventure for the new folks. Okay, cool. So that'll be the spiders that reside over at the Ruins of Thunder Tree. So we'll be returning to those tutorials pretty shortly. One of the things I've done with the tutorial for the Lost Mine of Phandelver, the Ruins of Thunder Tree, is although I do give you advice on how to run it as is in the book, I actually treat that location as a completely different adventure. And some of you will already be aware that I've done this because you would have been part of the Lighthall classes. But what I've done is I've sort of stacked it. Very, very simple guidelines. Like seriously, it's like a paragraph, and that's all you need, and you're ready to go. And the intention is that the Ruins of Thunder Tree makes the dragon and that location a major focal point after you finish the Lost Mine of Phandelver, after you finish dealing with the Black Spider, rather than it being a sort of like a side quest. Because I don't think it should be a side quest. I think it should be the capstone for the follow-on from the black spider. Like you deal with the black spider, and then this thing comes up. You got a dragon to deal with, and the Ruins of Thunder tree is like the follow-up adventure, I guess, rather than the side quest. So yes, and yeah, giant spiders are probably one of the more painful things in that location, because if you've got enough of them, they can web you up, and then they'll just suck your blood, and you're dead. And that's what spiders do, right?
Yeah.
What do you got here, Age Old Monk? Kobold Press made some awesome materials. Yeah, they do. They do make some really good stuff. I have to say that the Tome of Beasts 2 was very disappointing. I felt like they had missed the mark on that one. I think the Creature Codex was actually confusing, but I now that I understand what it was, I actually think it's quite a good product. So what are you doing there on the beak there, man?
Just blending browns and to get the yellows at the tip. So I just try to keep it wet, which is hard in this room because it's quite hot in here. So just to make sure that the paint stays wet.
Yeah. It's the middle of winter, and it is not winter weather.
Not really. Well, it's rainy, it gets a bit cold, but then it gets hot, and it just
Yeah.
It's New Zealand weather is a bit weird, especially Auckland.
Yeah, it's
It's always been strange weather. It's inconsistent, and you just don't actually know you can't predict it either. There's no way.
Yep.
It was supposed to be raining today, and the sun's out. It's hot.
Exactly, and it's not just hot. It's
it's
really
very
hot.
humid hot. It's not nice. It's the make you sweat sort of hot. It's gross.
You might need to move forward a little bit more so they can see. Yeah, I think that's about right. What have we got here? What's Jasper's got to say? We found some mud zombies that split in half. Oh, I like that. If they take more than 10 damage. Nice. Like that idea. So if they take more than 10 damage, they split in half, and you want it with two mud zombies. So a zombie made out of mud. Ooh, nice. That's
It's amazing that anything can be a zombie, eh? It's like zombie beholders, zombie anything, zombie ogres,
Yep.
zombie, yeah.
Yeah, and the problem is that zombies in Dungeons and Dragons 5e they don't contract zombie plague or diseases or anything like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're like that. They're weird. It's like if you want a zombie, you want to turn the player character into a zombie.
Yeah.
Maybe slowly, so that they have time to sweat it and do something about it.
Yeah, something with a possible cure.
And if they can't sort it out, then of course they wind up being a zombie and then attack the rest of the party, and then that's.
It's like being bit by a vampire, right? You know.
Yeah, exactly. You you can get one of the players bit by a vampire and they turn into a vampire, then
And they just eat everybody.
well,
Suck all their blood.
possibly.
Or a werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
The werewolf thing. You did that a couple of times with some of our games.
Yeah. So it's blistering here in New York too. Oh, so that's Bob. Yeah, you're in New York, aren't you?
Wow.
Well, we're in the middle of winter and it's really hot. So apparently there might be something to this global warming problem.
That
feel
doesn't exist.
The global warming problem might be a little bit of an issue. I don't think that electric cars are going to solve it though.
No, you could plant some more trees and stop cutting the bloody things down.
Yeah, well, or if you cut the trees down, plant more trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, or replace those trees you cut down might help a little bit.
It might help a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. Okay, Foggy Bacon. Hello, Foggy Bacon. I saw you comment. If you're still here, hopefully you are. Any ideas for a strong hook start for the Lost Mine of Phandelver? Like, there is a whole series of videos, Foggy Bacon, and I'm sure you know about those. I did one on... it does snow in some parts of New Zealand, but not in Auckland. If it's snowing in
I wish
Auckland...
it frickin' snowed in Auckland.
No, you don't. You haven't been around snowman.
I have.
Have you?
I've been to Queenstown, I've been to Ruapehu.
Okay, yeah.
I would just sit in the snow and be happy.
Yeah, no, it's too warm in the Auckland region to actually have it doing that
It's
sort
too
of thing.
humid, it's just...
Yeah.
Even
So,
when it's cold, it's humid.
so the key to getting people hooked into the Lost Mine of Phandelver, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, is you want to have them come up with a reason why they are friends with Gundren Rockseeker. And if you do that and everybody's got a reason why they're friends with Gundren Rockseeker, then you want to have a small adventure before you start the adventure. So whether that's a bar brawl or fight where you're just punching people in the face and headbutting them and maybe kicking them in the groin or something like that. That sort of thing. That's a good way to sort of set it up, so that when Gundren is like in trouble, they will actually be interested in helping him. That's the best way to set up Lost Mine of Phandelver, in my opinion. When I run through the lesson number 1 again, I'm probably not going to use a tavern fight. I'm going to use a meeting at a farm. So it'll look a little bit different. So my advice is to make like a mini adventure that has one encounter, so that the player characters have some sort of connection to Gundren Rockseeker. That's always been my advice, and same advice I would give is that. It's not going to change. I feel like that's the best way. There are a lot of like little hooks as part of the pre-made characters in Lost Mine of Phandelver that are part of the pre-made characters, so they're actually built into there, but they don't actually pursue or involve pursuing the main goal, which is Gundren, apart from one, which is the cleric, the dwarf cleric. And that's really the only one that sort of ties in. All the rest take you off in other tangents. So that's not necessarily very helpful. Right. So what's happening with these hooks?
These hooks are grey. And now I have to do the horns. So I've done the eyes. You're getting close to finishing, actually.
So what colour did you put the eyes
It's a blue colour. What's that blue that you use?
Oh, it's the gelatinous blue.
Gelatinous blue?
Yeah, the light blue.
Yeah, I just wanted to make them sort of pop out of the miniature, so
yeah.
It's actually almost feels brighter than white. So I've done that. I'll do the hooks, those little horns and stuff now. Sort of like a grey black colour.
Yep.
And then do his base, and yeah.
Cool.
He's pretty much done.
All right.
Yep. So we're getting there.
You did, definitely are.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot better than I am. This would have taken me like four hours.
Really?
Yeah, well, I'm slow, I'm old. I'm 51 now. So that means poor eyesight, slow hands, a lot of shaking.
I think your eyesight might be better than mine, eh?
Well, I don't know.
I have to wear so many different types of glasses now. It's sucks.
Oh, Overboard's here. What do you got here? I see you are painting a hooker. Cough, cough, I mean hook horror.
Yeah, hooker, yep.
Yeah, I get it. I will, hang on, let me, I will show people that comment. I'm coming around. Be gentle in the comment section. I do have things turned on to stop people from saying something silly.
Yeah. Funny though, it was funny.
And I'm on the background to the other side. There we go. Right. So Overboard. Hello, Joe. Overboard has a YouTube channel, by the way, for those of you who don't know. And he does miniatures and terrain and reviews stuff. And you should go check him out sometime, because I know he hasn't done anything for a long time, but he does a lot of cool stuff. He's got stuff there that nobody else will have up. So you should definitely, if you're interested in that sort of thing, go have a look. What do you got here, Monk? I have all gone. What? I have all gone of modifications and optional changes and additions I've made for Lost Mine of Phandelver. I have all gone. I'm not sure what that means, Monk. I'm assuming that you've made lots of modifications and changes and additions to the Lost Mine of Phandelver. I think that's what you mean. I think you probably know everything that I've suggested people do, because if I remember right, you were certainly part of the original Light Hall classes I was running, and so that it won't be much different from that. I feel like I looked at it and I was like, okay, what else can I do with it? And so I'm letting it percolate in my brain. So if I decide to add anything more to it, I will, but. I don't think it'll be hugely different from what we did the first time round. Overboard, what do you got here? I'll definitely be doing a video on this this house I'm working on when it's all done. So I almost forgot. That's right. Overboard Joe is working on the Death House. He's done a 3D print of the entire Death House. That's,
wicked.
I believe you got the dungeon level. The house has got 3 stories to it. and it's got the interior and the exterior. He's painted so you can lift off each level so you can see inside.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, and so he's 3D printed it. He's painted it, and it looks amazing. And then you can see all the images on my Discord. So I have a Discord. The Discord there is to actually talk to me. So if you're going there to the Discord to type text stuff, don't bother. But if you put up pictures, I will certainly have a look at the pictures and put a thumbs up or a smiley face or a laugh or whatever it is, depending on what I think. But usually the Discord I use for video chat and voice chat. That's where people go to chat with me. And that's where I'll be today, actually, because after this, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on the next class. I think I'm going to be doing... I think it's improvising, learning to improvise. It wasn't supposed to be learning to improvise, but I have to schedule some Dungeon Master roundtables for the end of August, so I better get my act together. So what are you doing on those hooks? Are you doing what you said you were doing with the hooks?
Yeah, grey to black.
Grey to black.
Blend it a bit and then do the base.
Right, cool.
And then you can use them in the game if you want.
Yep, that's right. That's the base jumping or skydiving.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Hooked horrors that come from above that
Yep.
drop down and then tear you to pieces.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I bet you have Agile Monk done a lot of changes to Lost Mine of Phandelver. I still feel like the Lost Mine of Phandelver is a far superior adventure than the new one, the Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. I know it's the new shiny thing, but I just don't think it's got the same sort of staying power as this new box set they've put out, which is a shame. But at least it's free on D&D Beyond. Lost Mine of Phandelver, you can get the maps, the images, the stat blocks, the whole adventure for free off that website. So that's a good thing. You don't actually have to have the physical product now. I actually got, I found the actual box set. The only place I could find it was on the Book Depository in the UK. So I'm getting them to send it to me. It's $39, dude. New Zealand. $39 for this box set, which used to cost $20 in New Zealand. It's double the price, but it's like the only one left. And I'm like, why am I doing this? And I'm like, okay, there's a reason, because the old book, I have the original box set, and there are some printing errors in there. And so, although I could use the digital version, but I actually use the physical book a lot while I'm running those classes.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's nice to have that there so I can sort of refer to it. And I will probably use it a lot once I'm able to actually include people in the live feed. But got to wait till my machine's a bit chunkier.
Yeah.
And I have to use some special software since YouTube hasn't got that feature sorted out yet. Apparently they are supposed to be doing it though. It'd be crazy if I could start a live stream and then suddenly somebody else can jump in, whether you're a subscriber or another YouTube channel. That'd be awesome. What do you got here, Monk? Far better than the new one, shiny. Yeah. It's. I knew it was going to work out that way. It's a shame. They really missed the mark. Who makes a new Dungeons and Dragons starter set and includes artwork from the original Dungeons and Dragons cartoon with those characters, but doesn't have anything else than a few bits of stray artwork and a cover art on the box? They don't have pre-made characters for them. They don't even have like story elements. That none of them actually included as NPCs in the adventure. There's none of that there. It's just like, what were they like? Could have easily, if you'd done that, the Brazilians would have probably bought up all of those boxes and they would have made all their money on the first printing just with the Brazilians buying it all up. Yeah, there's a callback to wanting the Renault car ads that included them.
Okay.
Yeah. So Renault decided that the best way to sell their car to somebody in Brazil was to incorporate the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon characters as live action characters.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what I want to see as a movie. I wouldn't mind seeing those characters come back from the car ad.
Yeah.
I can live with that. Those kids are probably a bit too old now. That was a little while ago. Yeah. Dear. So yes, lots of really cool things coming. I know I keep saying these things are coming, but trust me, they're getting closer and closer. What's that, Jasper? One of my players' car battery just exploded. Is this an electric car, Jasper? Please tell me it's an electric car. Okay. I mean, is your friend all right? This player, one of your players, are they all right? They haven't been killed by the exploding battery? Because that would be bad, obviously.
I've had that happen to me.
Have you?
Yep.
But that wasn't like an electric car, eh? That was just a battery.
It was a car battery and it exploded like a shotgun in the engine bay.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a tiny battery compared to those batteries they have in the electric cars.
Oh, yeah. I'm not an electric car person.
I mean,
it's not the answer.
That would be terrifying if an electric car battery, because they're so huge, those things. And there's so many of them, isn't there?
How about this though? I think it's the Hyundai they're working on a 1970. It's called a 74N.
Yep.
It looks like a DeLorean almost.
Yeah.
And it's battery powered and hydrogen powered.
Mm-hmm.
So if that went wrong,
yeah. Like an American
Russia
movie.
would use it as a weapon.
You might have to lower the miniature a little bit because it's getting pretty close there. Okay, there we go. But yeah, it would be like watching an American movie. That car battery with the hydrogen would it just explode like
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
Yeah. Oh. So we have a real life American movie in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, let us know if your friend is all right. And yeah, I'm kind of interested if it's an electric car or not. Yeah. Oh, I can hear them. I can hear the little one coming back. I wonder if it's going to be the screaming through the house, laughing and smiling and yeah. As long as it's happy noises. Happy noises are good. Happy noises are good. That's a happy noise. That's a good sign. What's that, Jasper? No, they have a regular car. Oh, it's a regular car battery. They're fine, but the car sure ain't. Okay, so it's damaged the car engine bay, I suppose. More D&D? Okay. Well, does that mean that they will be able to play D&D, or are they going to have to walk to the game? Or are you going to just have to play online? My group's playing online, so... So how are we doing here, Ben?
Yeah, it's ready. I've just got to wait for that paint to dry so I can do the base dry brush, and then yeah.
Okay, a base on dry brush. So tell people what you've done here.
It's sort of a bit of a speed painting in some ways, but it's all wet blended.
Mm-hmm.
So I've tried to keep the paint as wet as possible. Blended the colours through from greys to purples to dark reds. I took it home and did a little bit of underpainting with the airbrush to give it a bit of a shadowing underneath. And ran a purple wash over it, and then just ran back over the highlights and blended the colours back in again, and then painted the claws black.
Right.
And gave them a yellow beak.
It looks very impressive. Better than I could do.
Thank you.
Yeah. So do you feel like coming back tomorrow?
Yeah. Well, there's that that night walker.
The night walker. So you do the night walker tomorrow? Yeah. Obviously, it'll take you more than one session.
It's a big
miniature.
Yeah. Just use a bigger brush, maybe.
Yeah, that might. Well, okay, that's pretty obvious.
I've pre-shaded that properly, so that is just a lot of blue. A lot of blue. All I see is blue.
Yeah. So the last thing you really want to do with a night walker is just paint it black. That would be.
Yeah, that would just be the really. You might as well just buy one painted black.
Do you think like a hooked horror would make like a useful or interesting? Could it be a domesticated stock animal that you could just have in a paddock, or an underground paddock, or catchment that you could just breed and then kill for its flesh, so you could eat it?
Well, it sort of looks like a giant beetle. So yeah, you could probably eat it.
It would just, I mean, you'd have to wear some serious armor to deal with those hooks. Otherwise, it's going to kill you before you can actually slaughter the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I think we were talking about that. It's like maybe like a chicken, like an alligator meat.
Possibly.
So
Yeah.
it's like,
Or
it's
beetle.
like a white meat or a beetle.
Yeah, beetle meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it sort of looks like a bird / beetle sort of thing.
I wonder what a tortoise tastes like. Would it be kind of like a tortoise?
I don't know. Are we allowed to say that?
Well,
we
probably
this online.
We'll probably upset somebody now already. So yeah, now that everybody's like loves tortoises, like yeah, that's all right. We're messing with you people. Just grow some thicker skin. We are just playing with you. We just wanted to see what we can get away with.
Yeah. You get a reaction.
Yeah, get a reaction. We got a reaction. Yeah. 3 people left.
Really?
Yeah, that's it. That did it. All I had to say is let's eat some tortoise.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no problems. So yes, that's worked out pretty well. So you're just waiting for that to dry.
Yep.
Do you reckon that it's worth waiting for it to dry, or should we just say good night for
Yeah,
now?
I mean, it's just a dry brush, isn't it? So
It's like, it's not a big deal. And
it's not a big deal.
yeah, we've got other things to do. Everybody else is probably going to go and water the garden or get some food.
Paint more miniatures.
Paint more miniatures. Yeah, that's more important. Paint more miniatures. Print more miniatures.
Yeah. And I have to go. I have to eat lunch.
That's right. Lunch. That's food. Food. I require food too.
Yeah.
That might help. So what I'll do is we'll do the sign out. I'll move over to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And where are we? Oh, there we go. Does this look highly inappropriate, David?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to say? I will say thank you everybody for showing up today.
Thanks
you to
everyone.
my patrons. Yeah. Thank you to David for doing the painting.
You're welcome.
Saved me a lot of time and effort. And I got to bum around and just talk with him. Or I don't even know was I even talking to you? Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. Welcome to my world, people. This is what I do on my holiday, apparently. So wherever you are in the world, whether it be morning, the afternoon, the night, or the wee early morning, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. Be nice to your neighbours, and hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Do you know how to say that?
Keep rolling those 20s.
That's right. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the one. Do you think you can type in there, thank you everyone? Or something like that. Oh, you're not. I can see your expression. It's not going to come out that way. Come on. You
Cheers, ears. Can I say that?
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah. That grin was just showed everything. Cheers, ears.
Yep.
Oh my God.